but they'll never take our freedom!
Why so serious?
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Well, I'm not good at it. I want you to get mad. You gotta say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
Yeah, I'm mad as hell, but I'm going to take this one more time. Hey, it's Friday afternoon. It's 4 p.m. Holiday weekend coming up. I hope everybody's had a wonderful week since the last time we spoke. Gary Allen with you here on Mainstreet, as we are every Friday afternoon. And by the way, if you want to get in on the action with us here on Twitch TV, you go over to twitch.tv/drinksjokes. Capital N Storytelling. You'll be right in. You'll be able to ask us all kinds of questions with my guests that are coming up, and it's rolling underneath the scroll, so you'll be able to check it out. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. I hope you're going to have a fabulous and quiet weekend and with your family and everything, and I hope all of you have done. And please go out and get your COVID shots if you're supposed to get them. Don't be afraid of them. They will save your life. They will save your family. They will save your friends. Go out and get it done, okay? Anyway, that's my PSA for the week. And by the way, tune into all the other shows here on Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. Some great, fabulous programs are on. The one before us was absolutely fabulous with all the comedians and writers and who they have on. And some of the other shows, we'll talk about that towards the end of the program. But first, let me bring on a gentleman who you probably know for many, many, many years. He started out in this business at 3.5 years old. There it is. There is his picture. He has been in Blazing Saddles. He has been on such programs as the $6 Million Man. He has also been, where's my crazy list here? Oh, the $6 Million Man, Marcus Welby. He is an entrepreneur. We will talk about some of those endeavors, but we are going to bring him on right now, the legendary Rodney Allen Rippy.
Hey, how are you, Mr. Allen?
Hey, call me Gary.
Okay, Gary. How you doing, Gary?
You know, I did that too because that's like the old DJ. Hey, here he is. First time I sat in front of a microphone in college and did that, they went, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Anyway, Rodney, how are you? We talked yesterday briefly for a few minutes.
Yes, sir. Just relaxing here in beautiful Southern California. We got great weather today. Just kind of kicking back. And man, I got an audition I got to get in today. It's wild.
What time are you going? What time is that?
Actually, the crazy world of entertainment, what they're doing now are a lot of video submissions. So it's kind of like, rather, because of crazy COVID, jacked everything up. We actually do some submitting and hopefully, once you get past that point, you get to do the old handshake and sit down and talk and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Rodney, you began in this business, as I said at the intro, when you were 3.5 years old. Your mother was instrumental in you auditioning or beginning to audition. Now, Indeed. I've seen pictures of you from back when you were 3.5 years old.
Yep.
And I will be honest with you, even me, as ugly as I am now, was cute when I was 3.5 years old. But what was it about you that your mother saw that she said, yeah, I think he would be good in commercials and stuff? What was it that she saw? Were you a precocious kid?
I was mama's little boy. That was it. I was mama's little boy, and she loved my brother and sister and everybody in the house and everybody in her life at the same level, and I was just fortunate enough to have had a great mom who, that thought enough of me. And one day, I'll just tell you in a little quickie, I'm sitting there, I'm watching The Little Rascals, and I'm laughing. And again, I remind you, I'm 3 years old. Mom's in the kitchen. And so she comes in and she goes, "What's so funny?" And I point at the TV and she goes, "Oh, you're laughing at buckwheat." And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "What, you think you could do that?" I'm like, and my mom was like, "What? You mean you wouldn't be afraid to be on TV with all those cameras and lights?" I'm like, and my mom goes, well, let me see what I can do. And my mom was one to call your bluff. And she goes over to the Yellow Pages, and there were talent agents and management in the Yellow Pages back in that day.
Yes.
And moms just started making phone calls. And before you know it, she had my brother, Kenneth Wayne, my sister, Beverly Lee, and myself all signed up. And it all turned out that it was just a wonderfully blessed opportunity when I got an audition from Jack in the Box.
By the
And
way,
that's
I got
all
some
started.
hellos here, Mr. Gaz. Hey, thanks, man. And somebody's going to have to help me with that one. Tom, what is that one? The Us. I'm terrible because my eyesight is terrible. I'm going in a couple of weeks for cataract surgery, so pardon me if I
Oh,
don't always get. Yeah. Hey,
it's
listen, it's
okay.
okay. Hey, listen, I
All
I
right,
love
brother.
reading, and I got to go do this thing. But
Yes.
by the way, since we were talking about buckwheat, what did you
Yes.
think of Eddie Murphy's takeoff on buckwheat on Saturday Night Live?
Listen, Eddie Murphy is a genius, and I would love to work with him. I've admired him. I thought his work was funny, and
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing about comedy. I mean, I was around the greats. You know, I actually did several episodes of Laugh In, and that's where all the huge comedians were right there all together, and it was just amazing. But he's a funny guy. He's a
Yeah.
funny guy, and I think he did a great job.
When do you remember your first audition?
I remember it like it was yesterday. There
It
you
was
go.
yesterday. No.
There you go,
Yeah.
folks.
See, I told you were a cute kid back then, and I love the hair. Now that hair, you couldn't grow that back again. I don't think if you
I
tried.
could, brother. Let me tell you something. I have to keep my fro under control because if I let it go, it will do that again. Thank God. Thank you for my wig staying in place. But yeah, but I tell you, honestly, I don't know if it's the vitamins or what, or good living
Yeah.
or whatever, but my hair does grow. Yeah.
There's an interesting name for a hair product. The fro. I got to keep the fro in control.
Yeah, right.
There's a product. There's a product for you. Jack in the Box. How far down the line was that when and what was that like? You went in on audition, and how many other children were there to audition as well?
Actually, the Jack in the Box spot was my very first audition. I never had any type of acting classes, tap dancing, piano, anything. It was just my mom actually signed me and my brother and sister up and just said, well, let's see what happens. And it turns out that it was one of these things that it was an amazing opportunity for me. And so when I went in for the Jack in the Box spot, there were like 100 kids called in. It was a huge casting. They didn't know if they wanted a boy or girl. They didn't know what nationality. They didn't care. They just wanted a cute kid. And thank God I landed my very first audition.
That is, and you call that beginner's luck.
Yep.
How soon after? Because nowadays, like for instance, even though when I lived in LA and I would audition for different things, and I may have very well known the casting director or the producer, but sometimes it's days. Sometimes it's an hour. You know, on your way home, your agent gets a call and then they call you. But how soon did you know Rodney had the Jack in the Box spot?
Actually, when I went in for that audition, it went so smooth. And it was just actually when I was sitting in the waiting room, I was sitting next to my mom, and there were like, again, 100 kids there. And my mom said, Rodney, I smell food. And I'm like, yeah. And I said, I smell it. And she goes, they're going to give you something to eat. And she said, don't talk with your mouth full. Remember the manners I taught you. Don't put your elbows on the table. And remember, and my mom said, and I don't care what they put in front of you. I don't care what it is. Don't touch it until they tell you. Don't touch it. I'm like, okay, Mom, I got it. And sure enough, I went in and they had a big old jumbo jack waiting for me. Every kid had a fresh jumbo jack being prepared. And so they plopped that bad boy down in front of me. And I was like, boy, I'm going to tear this thing up when they tell me. And sure enough, the guy goes through the commercial. Well, actually, you hear the casting director go, what's your name? I said, Rodney. Rodney what? Rodney Allen Rippy. What's that in front of you? The jumbo jack from Jack in the Box. And he said, do you think you could get a bite out of it? And I said, it's too big to eat. He said, well, pick it up and take a bite. So I was like, oh boy, that he shouldn't have said that. So I picked it up and I said, Rodney, you might only get one bite. So make it a good one. So I was like, oh. So I take a huge bite and he says, tell me how you like it. And I said, I can't talk, my mouth's full. because my mom said, don't talk with your mouth full. So there you go. And he cracks up laughing and sends me out. And so when I go and turn the doorknob to go out, literally my mom was right outside the door and sees the casting director roll off the couch and just dying laughing. And my mom is like, oh my God, they laughed my baby out of here. And so my mom grabs me by the hand and whisked me out the back door. And she's like, what happened? Why was that man laughing at you like that? And I was like, still chewing. My mom's like, why do you have food in your mouth? Chew, boy, chew. Talk to me. And I was like, Mom, he gave me a burger. I took a bite. He asked me how I like it. I told him I can't talk. My mouth's full. And he started laughing. And my mom was like, okay, Rodney, let's go. My mom thought I had bombed. So we go home. And then later that afternoon, my agent called and she said, Flossie, they love him. Take him back. He's got a call back. They're going to see him tomorrow. And my mom was like, what? They were laughing at him. They go, whatever he did, they loved it. So my mom takes me back. And sure enough, there are more casting people. They cut the field down to 50 this time. I go in number one and they met a few more people. They had another burger waiting for me. I was like, this is great. Next thing you know, they said, go ahead, tear it in. It's yours. I started diving into this burger and they were like, that's it. This is our guy. And they literally closed casting at that point.
Really?
They shut casting down. That was it.
I know that from that came a song, number one, and also came a phrase that you said just a few minutes ago. It's too big
to eat. Well,
yeah,
that was the commercial or the tagline when I said it in the commercial. But what actually happened was dun, da, 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 that's what I said. Take life a little easier. That is the old album. And that was the song that was in the Jack in the Box commercial. So
and also later on recorded by Sonny and Cher.
Indeed. And the song kind of became a very positive anthem. And actually, I'm working on a project right now to re-release my album because my album has never been released as a CD or any other thing. And a lot of parents have reached out to me and said, is there a way I can get a copy of it? Is it on CD? And I was like, business opportunity. I need to think like that. So I'm like, have to work it. And looking at our world where we are right now, everyone needs to take life a little easier.
I'm not going to get into it, but especially today.
Yeah.
Especially what happened today in Washington. But didn't you also recorded a song, maybe the same song, that hit the Billboard charts, for which you won an award from the American Arts and Sciences. You won an award for the only young person your age to ever hit the Billboard charts.
That's it. And that was actually the title track song, Take Life a Little Easier. And I think in combination with the Jack in the Box commercials, because they were running in such heavy rotation, so many people had great things that happened. Because of the album, here's my little doll. Da, 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 Rodney Allen Rippy doll. Take life a little easier.
Yeah.
There you go. So this was a wonderful project. God bless Mattel Toy and Operation Bootstrap that actually, and there was a great company called Shadana Toys that actually produced the little Rodney Allen Rippy doll, and it talked, and it was my little, this was their rendition of me. And I joined a very illustrious group of Flip Wilson and JJ Jimmy Walker dolls, and there were a lot of really great, other characters. And so I was very blessed to have been, immortalized like that. And there you go.
How long did those commercials run, Rodney?
14 years. That my commercial campaign ran for 14 years with Jack in the Box, and the album, the merchandising. They actually had be in a commercial with Rodney Allen Rippy sweepstakes. And they actually gave away, there were people who had bikes. A guy called me recently and said, man, when I was a kid, I won that bike. I was the envy of mine. It was a BMX dirt bike, and I think it was a Sears bike that was kind of like Sears did a promotion with Jack in the Box. And so, and this guy called me and he goes, dude, I won one of those bikes, and everybody in the neighborhood was so mad because everybody was trying to win.
Right.
And then there was a cute little girl that won the commercial, actually, and she was from Escondido. So we did a little commercial together.
You're listening to Mainstreet. I'm Gary Allen, my co-host today, and my guest is Rodney Allen Rippy. You'll remember him from the Jack in the Box commercials. If you want to catch us on Twitch, it's twitch.tv//drinks, jokes, capital N storytelling. And we're looking for your comments and comments you want. You want to ask Rodney a question or two, or me, whatever you want to do. He's going to be with us until around 5 o'clock this afternoon. And don't forget about all the other great shows right here on Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling Network. And we are certainly glad to have you with us. And happy Easter to all of you, and Passover as well. I'm asking this, and I don't need a number, but I'm asking this only because you know what they did to kid actors back in the day. No residuals, no money coming from the the souvenirs and the products and stuff. Were you able to at least get something from all of that other than the initial payout?
Oh, I was very, very blessed. I mean, I had a great team of people, and then on top of that, I had great parents who loved me, and it wasn't about the money. You know, my mom, she got me involved in TV just because she just thought it would be funny to see me have fun. And my mom told me, Rodney, you're going to do this as long as you're having fun. She goes, the moment that you feel like you're not having fun, just let me know. She goes, because I don't have to be driving back and forth from Long Beach to LA. And she goes, Rodney, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for you. So I was like, so I was aware that this was for me. I had the support of my family and my mom and dad. And to be honest, yes, my money was put aside for me. It was put in a trust account. It paid for me to go to college and has taken care of me thus far in life. And I was, I treated myself when I graduated to a 1971 Corvette Stingray. I had to get me a classic. And so, which I still own till this very day. For all the hot rod heads out there, that's me. And but it was a very blessed time. And like I said, a lot of people go, well, how much money did you make? Well,
that's not
the entertainment industry and sports industry in 1972, it wasn't paying very much. Now, if I had a run like that now, it would be worth millions of dollars, not millions.
And the funny thing, Rodney, I don't remember who it was, whether it was Gary Coleman or the gentleman who played Webster, but his parents didn't take care of him.
It's sad.
I don't remember which one it was. It was one of those two.
Well,
they didn't take care of him.
It doesn't matter if your parents don't take care of your money. If they don't take care of you, boy, they've done a terrible disservice to you. But thank God I was fortunate enough to have parents that loved me. And my dad was a solid ace, man. He was just the type of guy that till this very day, I look up to my father and admire him and strive to be a quarter of the man that he is, because he took care of everything. He held everything down, and he was a good, positive example of what a father should be. And my mother, I mean, and I, a lot of people, you hear some of these actors and they have tales of whoa. And I'm like, where were you? What part of the industry were you in? Because man, they took care of me, and golly, I mean, limousine riding, jet flying, hotel staying, it was never a drag. Anytime I get around some of my old entertainment partners and new people that I'm meeting, we have similar stories, but my story is very positive because I had a ball. I mean, I always have a ball. You put me in a paper bag and I'll find something to do. I'm happy.
Yeah. Your glass is half full, not half empty. And thank God you had good parents, because a lot of parents are not. They're greedy. They're,
Sad.
I'm just gonna bring this up. Talk about sad.
Yeah.
I was living in Los Angeles. I used to live right off of La Brea and Franklin. You know where that is.
Heck
We're
yeah.
by the Magic Castle.
Oh yeah.
And I remember a woman moved in to the apartment complex where I was,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a daughter, was 18 or 19 years old, kind of immature, but still a very beautiful girl. So I said, "Oh, you're looking to get photographs and stuff like that." She said, "Oh, no, no, no. My daughter's going into the porn business."
Gracious.
I said to her, "Wait a minute, you're putting your daughter in the adult industry?" She said, "Yeah, baby, that's where the money is." She said, "I don't care about the legitimate stuff." She said, "Look at this body. Who wouldn't want this?" And I just ended the conversation. And within 6 weeks, the daughter was in the porn industry doing stuff, and the mother, I was told later, committed suicide a few years later, and the daughter is no longer with us either.
Well, it's sad that
It's sad.
Yeah, those are those sad stories, and a lot of times people come to California and they have this, "I'm gonna be a star," and I'm like, careful, take your time, pace yourself, because there are many jobs that I wish I could have landed, and at that point, you can't marry the product. I mean, I've had one of my acting coaches said, "Rodney, just go in, lay down a serious audition, do your best, and don't marry it." And when I walk out of a production, a TV show, or red carpet, I'm back to me. I stay me going in there, and when I come out, I'm the same guy.
Okay, let's get to Blazing Saddles.
Hey, Blazing Saddles.
I had no idea. I never watched the credits very much.
Aha.
I never knew that you were the little fella in the covered wagon. There it is.
That's right.
Blazing Saddles.
Yep.
Did you audition in front of Mel?
You know what? That was one of those things that I got a call. There was no audition. It was like, you're in. And apparently Mel loved me, and he saw something and he thought it would be funny. And I don't know how I was blessed enough to be able to play Sheriff Bart, but I did. And it was a little flashback scene, if everybody remembers, when all of the Native Americans surrounded the wagon train, but when they came riding down the hill, the only people they surrounded was the black family. They didn't mess with nobody else. They just surrounded. And that was Mel's genius, to be able to give me a heck of an opportunity that I'll forever be grateful for.
And Mel was the Cheyenne chief.
Exactly.
Mel was the Cheyenne chief. I have so many questions about that movie, but you ran into Mel not long ago, and I believe you talked about the fact that A, you couldn't make that movie again for all the money in the world, and B, because of social consciousness, you couldn't make the movie anyway.
Right. Well, I hate to tell you, if Mel called me up and said, "Hey, Rodney, we're doing Blazing Saddles 2, and I need you to play Sheriff Bart," I would say, let the trail of tears begin, because I would be right there with him, shoulder to shoulder. But I think that, matter of fact, I was talking to a colleague of mine. I said, you know what? Mel should do it again. And what he should say is open the credits up at the beginning of the film and go, "Hey, I'm Mel Brooks. I have directed Young Frankenstein," and just have a scroll of movies that he's done. And he says, "Look, I'm a comedic writer. I'm a comedian. That's what I do. I make people laugh to take away the pain." And I'm going to tell you right now, you hear Blazing Saddles 2, get up and leave. Leave the audience now.
Yeah.
Because the movie's about to begin. If you're going to feel your little feelings going to get hurt, leave now. But if you feel like laughing, see ya. And then that's it. And just roll with God Help Me, Blazing Saddles 2. I wish Mel would do it. Man, I would crawl over broken glass to play.
I don't think he's going to do that one or History of the World Part 1. Well, first of all, Mel is 90-something years old.
I know. God bless him. But he's still hanging in there. He's sharp as a tack.
He's the last of all those great writers from back in New York, and Carl Reiner, of course, was his partner in 2000-Year-Old Man. Yeah. And, I just, okay, you're now blossomed out. You're a little bit older. Yeah. You were on the $6 Million Man, Marcus Welby, Police Story, The Odd Couple. I got to know, what was it like to work with Klugman and and oh God, I always forget his name.
Oh yes, there you go. Ba, 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 ba. There you go. There's a scene shot. There
Okay.
you go. That's it.
What was it like? Did you work with Klugman?
He was there, and I have to tell you, it, when at that time, I remember these shows, and I would be at home, and I would like, oh wow, I'd see these shows, and I'd poof, goodness gracious, I'm here, and
Yeah.
so that is the magic of Hollywood, because man, when things are hot, it there weren't any shows that I just from, like you had mentioned, $6 Million Man, Police Story, and
Mhm.
that was just another show that I remember watching and being a part of. And when I did that episode, I was like, wow, that show. And I remember even after the show, after I did that episode, it continued to run and run and run. And I go, wow, I had an imprint in that legacy. So,
Right.
I never, regretted a thing.
What did you do on Police Story?
Gosh, Police Story. It was just one of those dramas, man. If something happened, I have to go. I have to go back.
Were you older? Were you older, or was this when you were like
No,
5 or 6 years old?
I grew. I mean, as the shows continued, it started with Jack in the Box, and I went through the whole industry, and working on shows throughout the 70s and 80s and 90s, and that's just what
Mhm.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Talk to me about the dream sequence that Snoopy had, where you supposedly invited him to have lunch with you or dinner. I think it was lunch. It was dinner.
Yes.
It was dinner.
Well, of course, Schultz, the incredible cartoonist. I have had the pleasure of being on so many covers of different magazines and great publications and things. And my agent got a phone call. Her name was Dorothy Deotis, and she said, of course, she would call my mom. Hey, Flossie, guess what? They're going to do a story. They're going to do a comic with Rodney. And then my name popped up in the comic strip. And so, again, it's just, I could never say that, anyone ever figured that something like this could happen. And then working on things like the Harlem Globetrotters Popcorn Machine, that was a Saturday morning special. And being able to, being a fan of the Harlem Globetrotters as a little kid, and then actually ended up being the smallest Globetrotter of all. I mean, I literally came up to their kneecaps, literally. Probably didn't even come up to some of them's kneecaps because they were like 7 feet tall. And it was the funniest thing. I remember being a kid feeling like I was surrounded by giants. I was like, gosh, these guys are so big, but it was a great time.
You have seen people come and people go.
Yeah.
Who in this world would you like to work with or would have liked to have worked with if they're not with us anymore?
Wow. There's so many greats. Wow. De Niro, and he's still around, and James Earl Jones, and gosh, I mean, there are so many great actors. I mean, from the new guys, I love Dave Chappelle. I think he's funny. I think he got a great delivery. Eddie Murphy. I mean, I can just go through so many people. Had the pleasure of working with Adam Sandler and David Spade on Dickie Roberts, and two cool guys hanging out. I mean, not precocious at all. I mean, these guys are just like chill. These are the type of guys that you can just go and have a barbecue with and have laughs with. Great guys. And they were right there on the set and really just with all the actors. I mean, they didn't want to hang out in the VIP area. They came down and just had lunch with us and sat at the same lunch table and cracked jokes and things. And so I was honored. So I know the old school people who were the legends of Hollywood all the way up to new school. And so that's been my life.
Who were the old school actors, as you stated, that you ran across in your career?
Okay.
That
I have something for you.
Hold on. That just when you met them, you were like, oh
yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember doing the $6 Million Man. I remember doing the $6 Million Man and Lee Majors. And I was a kid. I'm like every other kid glued to the TV watching the freaking $6 Million Man. And when I got that call and that audition and landed it, I was like, I'm going to meet the $6 Million Man. And I literally did. And I was like, this guy is bionic. And of course, they told me that he really was bionic. And that just freaked me out even more. I was like, they didn't have any mercy on me. They really did. And so, but the coolest thing was, if anybody ever watches The Blue Flash, that's the name of the series. That was the name of the segment or the name of the show, $6 Million Man. In the middle of doing this shoot, we shot it in San Pedro, California. In the back of the scene is the Vincent Thomas Bridge because we shot at a house. This is no lie. In the middle of my scene, we were shooting. And that day, the camera died. There was a camera that croaked in the middle of the production. So they were mad. And they had to send a guy from San Pedro all the way back into LA to try to get another camera. And the production was held up. And I was riding this bike around the set, having a blast. Finally, we started the production back up. And when it came on TV, me and the whole family were gathered around the TV and we were watching. And in the scene, my scene, just at the split second that my scene come on, you see my dad in a 18-wheeler drive over the bridge. And he was in the background of the shot. And I said, Daddy, there goes your truck. And we all ran to the TV. He goes, man, that is me. And it was the craziest thing. My dad drove over the bridge right in my scene. There were 2 billion and one. There would be no chance that could happen, but it did.
No.
Yeah.
Now, talk about, have there been any roles that you were offered and later you went, oh, maybe I should have done that. No, I didn't do it. Maybe I should have done that.
I never had any regrets. I think people came to me with legitimate positive projects because they knew that it just would look weird if I, did something strange. And on top of that, I probably wouldn't have done anything strange anyway, because my mom was like, you ain't doing nothing stupid like that. Or she gave me the choice. And over time, and with the advent of so many things that have come through Hollywood, reality shows and everything, I'm a camera guy. I shoot and edit and package stuff. And I saw how things you can edit something and make a person look like a complete lunatic. And I was like, whew, there's reality shows. And then I started thinking about it. And a lot of times I try not to impact people in a negative way. And sometimes these reality shows, they can be very cutting and fighting and yelling.
But you know, Rodney, 90% of these reality shows are not really unscripted. They're scripted.
Oh, of course. But the whole
and they're told, we're told we have to have tension here. You've got to have a fight. You got to do this.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine who's going to come on the show in a couple of months, as soon as he's finished with his production. And he was a reality show producer. And he said, they're all scripted to some extent.
Right. And that's why I kind of managed to stay away from a lot of it, because you can get scripted into something that will have people thinking, oh God, he's such a jerk. And I'm like, no. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to focus and work on other positive projects and work with good people. And, it was really funny. I'll tell you one funny story.
Sure.
The one project that I've always regretted that I didn't get, and a lot of people won't believe this, but it's true. The phone call came in and I was supposed to play Kunta Kinte in Roots. Little Kunta Kinte, which actually became LeVar Burton. Yeah. And what happened was the phone call came in, Alex Haley, his whole crew, everybody, they wanted me to do the role. And when they brought me in, I was a little guy and I had this high squeaky little voice, and they were like, that ain't going to work. They literally said, Rodney's too cute. This ain't going to work. This is not going to work. And they laughed, and there was this whole big old thing, but they were like, you too cute. This ain't not going to work. So I'm sitting here with this big old fro, and they're like, nah, this ain't gonna work. So I think that was one of the jobs that got away. But LeVar, nobody could have done it better than him. He
Yeah.
did a great job.
He is
Fantastic actor.
he's such a phenomenal man in
Yeah.
general. What he does for children with the reading books
Yeah.
and reading Rainbow and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You did something that I would call out of character for you
Mm-hmm.
and silly, and I presume you learned a great deal from it. You ran for mayor of Compton.
Yes,
What in
I
the
did.
name of God made you decide you were going to get into the political arena?
Well, my college that I went to, I attended Cal State Dominguez Hills. Whoop, whoop, Cal State Dominguez, go Toros. And that is actually in Carson, California, which is right next door, practically, literally right on the other side of the 91 freeway.
Yes, it
And
is.
so I grew up all my life. My dad, when I was doing the Jack in the Box commercials and I had that big old gigantic, beautiful afro, my dad used to take me to his barber in Compton, right on Compton Boulevard, for all you people might remember. And so that's where I would get my hair cut. So I was always in and out of Compton, and my dad knew people there. And so over my adult life, I heard of the things that happen in Compton. And so one day I got a phone call and I went in to represent somebody because I do marketing and PR work. I was representing a nonprofit with the city, and things started flying and questions started being asked. And next thing you know, I kind of got pulled into the political race and ran for mayor. And honestly, my intention was to make a big, huge difference. And I honestly, the only reason why I didn't win was because they couldn't believe, because I was serious about not playing the game. And matter of fact, the young lady who won, Compton has, continued to stay on the map. It's, it still has issues. I have people calling me and people asking me to run. But actually right now I am currently supporting a current candidate for mayor who's running right now. And I think, he's doing a great job. Go, Mr. James Hayes, you can do it. So
people ask me, because I've worked in the political arena and as well as show business. And somebody who's completely outside of both arenas said, which one is the dirtiest? I said, it's hard pressed to pick one. It's hard pressed to pick between the political arena and show business. Which one will eat you alive the quickest? I think it's politics. I have to tell you, because what happened when I ran, the ideas that I had that were so progressive to make change. I'm talking about like make some serious change the city, the look of the city, to better the city, create jobs, tax revenue. I had a whole plan, and I had people behind me that were willing to stand and make it happen. And it literally turned out there was a de facto crazy group that said, Rodney's going to buy up all the property, and he's got millionaires and from Beverly Hills that are going to buy all the property and jack up the rent. And I was like, who? And I was like, so there was a huge smear campaign that got started. Needless to say, I decided that I could affect change there and in other cities by doing work that I'm doing now. So I'm happy with it. If you can use, the best definition of power, and politicians constantly screw it up, but if you have power, the best way to let people know you have it is not by using it, but if you can use the power of the pulpit to get things done, which is what we're going to get to next, because I know you're very proud of this. You were working with NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. You did a 14-hour program recently on stem cell education. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, STEM, actually, it's STEM education, and it's all about getting the young people excited about STEM, the science.
Oh, I thought it was stem cell. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It was STEM, that was the acronym. So the key is working with a dear friend of mine, and we see a major problem when you start looking at education with high school students. They're not going the way of STEM, and they've closed down a lot of the vocational classes that were at the high school level. So me and another gentleman's named Bill Montgomery, who Bill actually is the cousin of the great Katherine Johnson. that kind of opened the door for us with NASA. And NASA, they're a big organization, and they just cannot get down to that micro level. We've been working in and out of the school systems here in Southern California, and we've been able to do live events and bring VIPs. And then NASA actually is beaming in live into the classrooms and speaking to the kids. And so this was pre-COVID, of course, but now we're looking at, how can we go into the second annual event, which we're going to do in February. I believe it's February 24th, 5th, and 26th of 2022. We're already set up. We're bringing our sponsors and things back on. We had a great sponsor, a $1 billion car company, Lucid Motors, incredible electric car company. The San Diego Unified School District, they jumped on board. And it was just very, very powerful what we accomplished the first time out. Had close to 250,000 people watch it. And hopefully, we really want people to kind of get behind it, support it, and go STEM for the young people.
Right. Do you think how much of this COVID situation is going to, once we get past it and kids are allowed to go back to school and we don't have to fear them coming down with this, although I think it's going to be with us forever, sort of like the way the flu is, unfortunately.
Right.
And by the way, I've had my 2 shots. I don't know if you have had yours or not, Rodney,
So
but I
amazing,
highly recommend it. You're going to save people's lives all around you, even people you don't know.
Correct.
How do you think education is going to be affected? They say that the kids are a year behind now in some cases because not everybody could afford a computer for their children to be at home, to be homeschooled in a sense of being on a computer. You're at home. How do you think this is going to affect as we move forward with the education for our children?
I think the young kids they're gonna bounce back. I think that they're excited to go back to school. And it's going to take some focus. Yes, it's true. Grades have dropped. Normal A students have actually started to slip. And it's something different about having instruction when you can kind of bond with your teacher and be driven by your fellow classmates to kind of challenge you. But when you're just sitting at home looking at a computer, it has a tendency to kind of, dull you a little bit. And because it's all, and some people go, well, you have to be self-motivated. If you don't go get it, it won't come to you.
No, it's true.
Life is not quite that way. And yes, of course, you got to get up and get out of bed to do something, but it's a different style of instruction. And so hopefully I think they'll be very resilient. They'll bounce back. And that's why we are doing the things that we're doing. We want to make school exciting for young people, make it fun, and actually have a career path at the end of it. Because not every child is going to go to college. They're not cut out for it. Their parents weren't set up to take care of them to do that. So, they need to be able to have a living wage and do well in life.
Yeah, and I think that's why the President Biden wants to set up for people going to community college, junior college, whatever they call it now, maybe those first 2 years free, so we can get our kids back on course, because we used to lead in every educational category in this country, and now we don't, and we're like 10th or 12th or 15th or whatever the case may be.
That's
I know
where
that you're involved.
That's where I got my start. I went to community college and drifted right into a 4-year and had never looked back. Go ahead.
I was fortunate, military, and I did go to community college for couple of semesters to bring my grades, not my grades up, but courses up. And then I went on to the University of Miami, where I consider that home more than I do anything else, any other place. Well, I grew up in South Florida. You are involved in a lot of different things. We're going to talk about your podcasting here in just a little bit. We've only got, believe it or not, 10 more minutes to go with this crazy program. Celebrity Shootout 2021 in Las Vegas. Now, I know that there is a possibility it may be at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, which I've been to many, many times. where is that at this particular point? Because I know and it's a shootout, folks, by the way, of celebrities going against each other, racing on a drag strip or race. I don't know. Is it going to race on a drag strip alone, or is it going to be on the oval?
Nope. The plan of the celebrity shootout. Now, this is my production. This is a plan that it's in development right now. There's so many cool celebrities, music artists, VIPs. They got these bad cars, Ferraris, Porsches, Lambos. They got all the good stuff. Well, guess what? I want them to bring their rides to the drag strip, and every celebrity has a cause. My goal is to create a Guinness Book World Record event, literally, where we're going to raise the most money, the fastest, for the most charities all in one day, because every celebrity going down the drag strip, they're going to say, I'm racing for so-and-so. The other racer says, I'm going to be racing for so-and-so. And people at home can literally make donor bets, which means it's just a donation. Get behind your favorite celeb. So I want to see Ellen DeGeneres race Kim Kardashian, because Ellen has her Porsche and Kim has her Lambo. And so I want to see 50 Cent go up against, Mayweather. And so I want to have junk talking, side bets, and we're going to be raising nothing but pure money for causes all around the world.
Rodney, if you put that together, I will somehow scrape together some money. I will fly out to Viva Las Vegas, because I lived there for 10 years.
Yep.
And I will help you maybe MC it or do something connected with it. And by the way, you said something very funny, and I don't think you realized it.
What?
You said Ellen DeGeneres has her Porsche in more ways than one.
Aha. Oh, that's good. I like that. Boom. Well, I'll tell you
that's
this.
that's her wife. I guess her wife, is how
yes,
she refers
of course,
to Porsche.
of course.
Porsche.
Well,
there's a gentleman here that asked a question. Saboom 69, Shaboom. He wants to know, what was it like to work with Gene Wilder? And he apparently met you 10 years ago.
Wow. Probably at an autograph sign or something cool like that. Gene Wilder, I've met Cleavon Little, and of course, being able to see all those greats. I remember that they just laughed a lot during the production. They literally had to, say, hey, listen, guys, we got to hold this together. Because think about it, can you imagine being on a set with Gene Wilder and all these guys, how you couldn't even get through a line without somebody falling apart in the back of the scene, and they had to keep starting over, and they were burning a lot of film that way.
And remember who was one of the co-writers of the movie?
Richard Pryor.
I mean, does it get any good? I love the whole thing and everything. But getting back to Celebrity Shootout. Yeah. Where do people have to go to find out more about that? And we're also going into the Country Soul Music Awards as well. Yes, well, Country Soul Music Awards, but the Celebrity Shootout, you can hit me on just Google me, keep in contact. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Definitely my goal is to, and I'm not sure if it's going to be in Vegas. It may be in Pomona. It may be at Irwindale Speedway. It's going to be somewhere. I'm fingers crossed. Yes, the RAR show at Gmail. That's going to be the home for my correspondence. And of course, the Rodney Allen Rippy Show is my podcast that's coming. So stay tuned. It's going to be fun. I'm actually co-host of the Country Soul Music Awards, where we want to be able to honor the soulful side of country. And that's people like Ronnie Millsap, Winona Judd, Darius Rucker, Lionel Richie. These are country soul singers. They're not country singers. And so we want to give out honors. I'm friends and colleagues with a guy named James Andrew with the it's the Taylor Wars, where tailors, a lot of times people see tailors who are they only see the tailored things. And thank you, James, for the tailored coat. Thank you there, brother. But the whole kick is it's all about tailors battling at war to come up and work under pressure. That's another thing. I actually have a music format show that's actually playing out of Reno. It's Tea Time with Teen Day. And so we are, it like a preservation for beautiful music. And that's people like, what was the big guy for beautiful music? Beautiful music is like Barry White's Love Unlimited Orchestra. And all of those beautiful from the 1920s to the 2000s. And so you can listen, just go to Tea Time with Teen Day on Facebook. So you can,
and it's Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So,
Well, if you get the drag strip thing going, I definitely want to be there because you got to get Leno, by the way.
Well, that's the point. And my buddy Bill knows Jay, so I want Jay to race Seinfeld. Ha ha ha.
Now, but he loves to race against Tim Allen a lot.
And Tim. I want all those boys to bring it, because if they all show up at the drag strip, and again, remember, they are racing for charity. Tim can pick his favorite charity. Everybody gets to pick their own charity, long as they're in 501c and good status. And every time they go down a drag strip, imagine if we have millions of people watching, which we will, God willing, and people are donating to every race. So it's like you make a little side bet. And we're just going to drive money for charity. I've already talked to the American Cancer Society. I actually lost my mom when I was just 18, and she passed with cancer. So God rest her soul. But she gave me enough in life to keep me going. And I always promised the American Cancer Society that I would always be faithful to them and support them where I can. And that's what's happening.
By the way, I just want to remind everybody, if you get on our website, which is twitch.tv/drinks, jokes, capital N storytelling, subscribe to our channel, please. We have a lot of great shows coming up. We have a lot of great shows on the air with some great hosts. And next week, I'm just going to remind everybody real quick, I have Adrian Paul joining us. The Highlander is going to be coming on. So I'm really looking forward to that. We'll talk about that in just a couple minutes as we kind of bring this to an end. Rodney, you started out at 3.5 years old. You're old now. What advice would you give somebody? The best advice I ever got was, if you have something else on your mind other than acting, go and do it, because acting is a 24/7, 365.
Well, once you're an actor, you're always an actor. And I say do it all, because if you're in the entertainment industry, you need to learn how to shoot, edit, package, write, but also have other things in the background. You know, a lot of times people worry about, oh, am I on camera? Do I look? Oh, I love the spotlight. I could care less about that. Sometimes you make more money people don't even see. The people who make the real bucks, you don't even see them. That's the distributors. That's the people who are the producers, creators, the producers. They don't care about being in front of a camera. They just go cha-ching, 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 because those residuals roll. But again, the big thing is I'm excited about all of the projects and the things that I'm working on. I'm really hopeful that.
And what's that website again, Rodney?
Yeah, you can reach me. You can reach me on Facebook, Rodney Allen Rippy. Catch me on Instagram. You can catch me at the RAR show at Gmail. I'm very accessible. And like I said, I'm looking at doing some great things in music, and working with these various people, and like I said, my colleague with the Country Soul Music Awards, we're possibly going to be launching a country soul label, so stay tuned. And again, my podcast, the Rodney Allen Rippy Show, that's going to be something that I'm going to be doing interviews and special guests, just like this great, incredible show that you got here. Gary, you got a great show, and definitely I want to be able to do the same, following your footsteps.
Rodney, it's Easter weekend. Today is Good Friday. And for Christians around the world, such as myself, it means a great deal. What does this mean to you? What does this day mean to you and Easter Sunday? You can speak of it in biblical terms if you choose, or you cannot choose to. What does it mean to you?
Well, it's a reminder that we have an opportunity for salvation. You just have to either accept it, and rejecting it is not good for your health, I would say, and afterlife. But the whole point is, you look at this world as we see it right now, and I think that more than ever, we need to take life a little easier. We need to love each other a lot more. Yes. And we need to stop with the foolishness, because our nation is dependent on it. We don't have anywhere to go, folks. People, I don't care what they say. Me personally, I'm not going back to Africa. I would love to go, because I got plans to do some serious work there. But the whole point is, the most important thing is we need to love each other and stop with the lies and all of the hype and foolishness. And because We need to get our people back to work. We need to get our businesses fired up. We need to get these kids back in school. And we need to we got to jumpstart the entertainment industry. Production's been stalled. Let's go, man. Let's have some fun.
What is this? Hey, Rodney, what is the show event you are part of called the Bikini Bowling Show?
The Bikini Bowling, that's a buddy of mine named Lavac. That was a crazy project that we started, and it was a kind of like, like arena football. Remember when the girls were doing the football thing? Again, I
was a sideline reporter for the Arena Football League.
Wow. So you get it. So basically, these are the type of fun things. And listen, it's all about, hey, I'm all for girls playing football. Can you imagine?
Party said he loved it. Man Party said he loved it.
Well, the point about this is, hey, women want equal rights. Let them get out there. Let them bang it. Let them have fun. Let them have let them have fun with all the rest of the sports fans.
Yeah. Well, I agree 100%. And I know that you and I will be in touch for a very long time to come, because I love it. I love what you do. I hope you'll be able to come back at some point, and we'll talk about the celebrity run in Las Vegas or wherever you're going to have it, the shootout, as well as some of the other things that you're doing. And I thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day. Please stay right there after the show. We're going to talk for a few minutes. But I just want to thank all of you out there for joining us on this Good Friday. I hope this weekend is a fabulous one for you. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. But most of all, go out and get your shot if you have an opportunity to do so. Next Friday at 4 p.m., Adrian Paul, the Highlander, is coming on. The end of the month, Melissa Manchester is joining us. I have one Friday open. I'm opening that Brian Baldinger is going to join us. He's going to let me know in the next week or so. But thank you all for taking a few minutes out of your day. Watch all the other shows on this network. They're fabulous. All of them, all my friends are on here. They bring on some great people. Please do say thank you to Rodney Allen Rippy, and I thank all of you. Until next time, this is Gary Allen for Mainstreet, 4 p.m. every Friday. Take care of yourselves and each other.